It's always a delight to come your way. Hello, good morning and welcome to Newsroom here on GHOne Television. Let's take a look at our headlines this morning. And this morning, we will take you live as proponents of anti-gay bill protest to express frustration over the delays in the bill's final approval. And also, police takes over Supreme Court as protesters ready to petition Chief Justice. Some protesters of the Stop Galamsey Now demonstration sadly still in police custody after court granted them bail. We'll tell you why. And in business, Cocoa Carriers Association begin an indefinite strike over poor conditions of service. And in sports, we have details of Thomas Partey and 3 others withdraw from squad ahead of Sudan doubleheader. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay with me. Many thanks for choosing us this morning. The news is coming to you live from our Platinum studio here in Accra, and it's also streaming live on Facebook at GHOne TV. This morning, the Judicial Service has assured that the Supreme Court is ready to expedite hearings on all anti-gay cases before the parties file their respective processes. The sponsors of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, popularly known as Anti-Gay Bill, are on a peaceful walk now to the Supreme Court to protest delays in passing it. But providing an update on the cases at the press conference on Monday, October 7, the Registrar of the Supreme Court said the Apex Court is ready to deal with the cases once the parties file their processes.
In respect of Richard Sky versus Parliament of Ghana and the Attorney General, it was filed on 5th March 2024. The plaintiff also wants a declaration, among others, that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was passed in violation of Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution. Neither Parliament nor the Attorney General has filed a defense in the form of a statement of case. All 3 parties have not filed the needed memorandum of issues that they need the court to settle. Now, the Judicial Service issued a statement on the 13th day of September 2024, which gave the above update in respect of the 2 cases and explained that the parties have not completed the processes they were required to file before the Supreme Court can hear any case. On 1st October 2024, the lawyer for Parliament filed an application asking the court to give permission for Parliament to file its defense, even though they had exceeded the 14 days set by the Supreme Court Rule CI 16. This application will be heard within the first week of the Supreme Court sitting, being the 15th to the 17th of October 2024. The general public is assured that the Supreme Court Registry is ready to receive all processes that need to be filed. The Supreme Court is ready to hear every matter where parties have complied with the rules of court directing the processes to be filed before a hearing is held.
But the Member of Parliament for Nigo Pram, Sam George, believes that Chief Justice is acting maliciously in the anti-gay bill case. The legislator, who is the lead sponsor of the bill, argued that the Chief Justice cannot determine for herself when and how she will hear the case. According to him, the conduct of the Chief Justice amounts to an abuse of her powers under Article 296 of the Constitution. He spoke on State of Affairs on GHOne TV.
Rulers of darkness and wickedness in high places. They are sitting in the Flagstaff House there. But you see, the beauty of it is principalities and powers and rulers of wickedness in high places. They all bow down at the name of Jesus. And so, irrespective of how high they are and how haughty they think they may be, we come against them in the name of Jesus. The reason why the bill hasn't gone to the president is not because of processes that have not been filed. It's simply because the Chief Justice, GHOne, her ladyship, has failed to give judgment in the injunction petition. All documents and processes in the injunction petition have been heard and completed. It is now for the substantive case. What is stopping Parliament is that injunction suit. So there is nobody, not the plaintiffs, not the defendants. The only person who's held us up from a judgment on the injunction, which would allow Parliament to proceed with transmitting according to Article 106, 6 and 7 of the 1992 Constitution, is her ladyship, GHOne. She cannot pass the buck. And even when it comes to the substantive case, the powers of those courts do not reside in the plaintiff or the defendant. They reside in the presiding judge. It's akin to you saying that you are the host of this show, but I should come and determine what you should discuss. And so you are sitting there and waiting until I come. That's what the Chief Justice is saying to us. That she's sitting there, being paid with our salary, with our taxes, driving around, chauffeured around an air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned home from an air-conditioned office. And she's sitting and waiting for the Attorney General to be the one at his own leisure and pleasure to file the documents. Does the Chief Justice of Ghana now work at the behest of the Attorney General of Ghana?
Well, hundreds of supporters of the anti-gay bill have hit the streets of Accra in protest of delays in the bill's final approval. The protesters are demanding immediate action, urging the president to sign the bill into law. Well, although Parliament passed the bill on February 28, 2024, its implementation has stalled. The demonstration aims to draw attention to the long wait for the bill's enactment. We will cross over in a bit and speak to my colleague Obed Kingaglo, who is on the ground to bring us up to speed on what is happening. Obed, if you can hear me, tell us, where is the group now and what more can you say? Should I cut him? We seem to have a problem with Obed's sound there. We are trying to rework the lines and get back to him shortly because that's quite important. But Member of Parliament for Noctong, Ningo Prampram, I beg your pardon, Sam George, is also of the view that the attitude of the Attorney General, Godfrey Adame, does not engender confidence. Hence, the Chief Justice should not tolerate what he terms as the incompetence of the AG to continue.
In the populace of this country, in his ability to dispense his duties. And so the Chief Justice cannot be sitting down and waiting for such an incompetent Attorney General to file his documents. The court procedure, the rules of procedure at court state that he should file his documents in 14 days in response to whatever affidavit has been filed. We've gone past 63 days. He's not filed it. Is the Chief Justice assuming and telling this country that she will sit aloof and leave him. The Chief Justice has held one press conference. She held a press conference, I think on the 7th or so, or 9th of September. She wrote to me personally on the 11th of September. Now she's held another press conference today, and finally she's giving dates. Well, we're asking for dates. We will go there. We want a timetable. Now she's giving you just dates. We want the full timetable. What she's giving you is the lecture for day one. We want from Monday to Friday. We want the whole date. We want a calendar, a timetable for us to be able to follow.
So let's go back to our earlier story in relations to that. Earlier, my colleague Obed Kingaglo spoke to Sam George and Rexoma. Let's take a look.
Be there in the executive or the judiciary to stand against the will of the people of Ghana. That was expressly stated on the 28th of February 2024 when Parliament unanimously did the third reading and passed the Family Values Bill. The President caused his executive secretary at the time, Nana Santi Dede, and we wish him a speedy recovery, caused him to write a cease and desist letter to Parliament, claiming that there was a lawsuit against the bill, at which time there was no lawsuit. 48 hours later, Richard Delasky and Amanda Odoi go and file a frivolous suit before the Supreme Court of the land. And then they file an injunction suit as well against Parliament. But the Supreme Court, in March this year, in the ruling in Roxinda Fiamepo versus Attorney General, ruled that the Supreme Court cannot place an injunction on a constitutional body from carrying out its constitutional function. And that was the judgment that the Chief Justice gave when it came to the approval of judges, approval of ministers for President Akufo-Addo. Now that the people of Ghana have passed their bill through Parliament, she claims that she wants to place an injunction on Parliament. The transmission of the bill is a constitutional function in Article 106, 6 and 7 of the Constitution. Now the Attorney General is working in cahoots with the plaintiffs to delay the case.
The Chief Justice's press conference did not answer any of our questions. The question is, why did she wait till yesterday? This case has been in court for almost 6 months. Why yesterday? Why did it have to take us to agitate before coming out to do this press conference? They say justice delayed is justice denied. There have been several instances where cases go to the Supreme Court and the justices and the Chief Justice can say within 90 days this issue must be dealt with. We have had several instances where even election cases, they give a timeline. Why not this one? So the whole situation is they are playing judiciary gymnastics just to shield Akufo-Addo from assenting this bill. And that is why she, the Chief Justice, who is a mother, a wife, we want to know her stand on this issue. So all we are asking is, if she wants to adjudicate this issue, she should do it as soon as possible. That's all we're asking.
But massive barricades have been mounted at the entrances of the Supreme Court as heavy security personnel have been deployed around the premises as the group moved to present a petition to the Chief Justice. Well, earlier, management of the Judicial Service, led by the Chief Justice GHOne, had issued a communique seeking the cooperation of all staff of the Judicial Service as security is deployed to the ground. Let's cross over to our court correspondent Mutala Inusa, who is currently at the premises right now, to understand how serious the security preparations have been. Mutala, if you can hear me, Run us through, apart from the barricade, what else have been put in place to in waiting for the protesters?
Well, I would say that the one thing is certain when you come to the premises of the Supreme Court, and that is about security. When you enter into the premises here, even before you make your way into the Supreme Court premises, you get the idea, you get a feel by way of how the police personnel have lined up on the road, even into the entrance of the Supreme Court. And just behind me is the main entrance to the Supreme Court, and all the area have been barricaded. The Supreme Court has got about 3 entrances, one through the Ghana School of Law. That place is also fully loaded with police security officers, and the premises, you wouldn't find any way. And like I said, this is the very main entrance of the Supreme Court. Police personnel have gathered here. The entire environment here at the Supreme Court premises is full of police personnel. Those who are at vantage point, every particular way path that you find here at the premises of the Supreme Court, you will see police personnel all over the place, all in anticipation of the protesters' arrival. And we understand that as we speak, the Chief Justice is in the house, is waiting patiently for the arrival of the protesters. One thing that is not clear is whether she will come out personally to accept or to receive that particular petition, or the Judicial Secretary will do that, or somebody delegated on her behalf. But what is clear is that when you make your way into the Supreme Court premises where the protesters are heading, police presence is heavily felt, the barricades are all over, and the entrances of all the entrances, I must say, to the Supreme Court. You notice that the Supreme Court shared the same compound with the Circuit Court. All these particular places have been detailed with police personnel, and all the areas, barricades that are supposed to be provided, all of them have been provided. So that is the scene here ahead of the protesters' arrival.
Mutala, I'm sure you may have engaged some lawyers or passerbys who are using the Supreme Court. How is the mood like? Is the presence of the security personnel unsettling for them?
Absolutely. So you notice that it hasn't been the usual. They said the traffic is flowing, but one thing that is unusual is the massive nature of the traffic. Right. And also some people, because of the, when you are coming into the Supreme Court, the police will have to understand your business, what you have to be doing around this place before you make your way into the premises. Yes, people at first were wondering, why do you have a lot of police personnel here? People were wondering that, were initially making the point that because of the Democracy Hub demonstrators who are expected to be arraigned or to arrive in court sometime in the afternoon at 2 p.m. But of course, when you try to speak to them, they have no idea. When you talk to them, say, oh, because of the protest, some of them also have an idea what is happening on the streets. And so some of them are aware of the situation and the reason the police have gathered here. Some of them too, until you get them informed, they do not know what is happening. But one thing is telling, the traffic situation here and the number of police officers who have been deployed here is one thing that will tell you something very unique is happening this day at the premises of the Apex Court, that is the Supreme Court, to be precise.
Right, Mutala, before I let you go, what more are we learning on the protesters who were granted bail yesterday? The anti-Galamsey protesters who were granted bail yesterday, but we understand some are still in police custody.
Absolutely. So there will be an update as they appear before the court this afternoon at 2 p.m. They will be making their way before His Honor, Mr. Kobna Obriyebua. But earlier, I will see the remaining accused persons who are in custody, who were not part of those who appeared yesterday and were fortunate to get bail this morning, and we went before the same court, Justice Aite Amatete, to seek for a bail. In fact, but unfortunately, when the matter came up, the Office of the Attorney General, the state prosecutor who represented the state, indicated that they have filed an affidavit in opposition to the bail for application. However, lawyers of the accused persons indicated that they have not been served with the processes, for which reason the case has been adjourned to tomorrow for that to be done. But interestingly, what is also likely to happen is that that same bail application could be moved at the Circuit Court here as the accused person, especially those who have not been granted bail, make an appearance here this afternoon. So there'll be a lot of twists and turns as and when this very case come up this afternoon at the circuit court.
Right. Thank you so much, Mutala Inusa, for bringing us up to speed on court-related issues. But let's take a look at what you've been saying on social media. And Nanama Akwa is in the studio with the very latest. Nanama.
Hi there, Dede. Well, people are talking about the protest that is ongoing as they make their way over to the Supreme Court. Let's see what you have to say here on X, formerly Twitter. Raphael says President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia must sign the anti-gay bill into law. Join the demonstration. We have our next comment here asking, can't you lead for ex gratia rather to be scrapped? Okay, then we have Darling Guy Diamond. Wow, great. I love it. One of the few personalities in Group B. Nana Kwame says, you and Kasa, you know, be serious with all the serious issues in Ghana. Then we have Seth here. God bless you, Mr. Sam. Nana Poku adds, put the same energy into the fight for Galamsey. It's more dangerous than activities of a homosexual nature. Then Seth says, God bless you, Mr. Sam. Again there. Elom says, we are coming. That is what you have to say for social media. Continue to send us your messages on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X. Dede, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Nanama, for bringing us what you've been saying on social media. But let's move on to related stories. Some of the protesters of the Stop Galamsey Now protests are still in police custody after court granted them bail. The lawyers of the group say the 21 protesters granted bail on October 7 were not able to go home because the court couldn't give an order. According to Philemon La, the court claimed it was too late to type out the order and execute the bail bond. Let's cross over Zoom and speak to Philemon La, who is one of the lawyers of the Democracy Hub protesters who were granted bail yesterday. Solomon, many thanks for joining us this morning. We want to understand
Dede, thank you for having me. Am I online now?
Would you want to clarify the legal steps in this situation and the reasons why the protesters are still in custody?
Oh, all right. Very well. Thank you very much, Dede, for having me, and good afternoon to the listeners of and viewers of GHOne TV. So yesterday, the court rightly granted bail to 21 of the protesters, and the condition would have been for various bail sums to have been. So some of them are supposed to pay about 70. We needed sureties to give a bail bond of about 70,000 and then 20,000 in the case of Felicity Nelson. But unfortunately, the court told us that they couldn't type out the order of the court, which is an integral part in executing the bail bond. So because of the failure, the inability of the court to be able to issue out the order, type out the order of the court, we couldn't get them out yesterday. But we are hopeful that today we can be able to do that. But I think overall, any hour, any minute spent in police custody, I think is quite unlawful and quite unjust to these heroes of our country. So as of yet, we are waiting for the arrival of the protesters in court, and we have people on standby who execute the various bail bonds. Whatever amount they have said, we are ready and willing to secure the liberty of our clients.
We want to understand, do we know what prevented the court from issuing the bail order? What specific reason they gave?
When it gives a judgment, you would have to extract that order. So the order of the court has to be typed out, which is the basis upon which you can execute the bail bond. So the court's excuse yesterday was that it was quite late and they couldn't type out the order, especially for 21 people. But I think that in a society where technology has advanced, it shouldn't be difficult to type out the court order. How many minutes does it take to type out an order of, say, about a page? That shouldn't take so much time. But that was the excuse from the court. So as we speak, those that were granted bail yesterday are still in custody, and pending the execution of the various bail conditions today, we hope to secure their liberties.
So you're saying on record that latest by today, these protesters will be released?
That is our expectation. In fact, as of yesterday, we expected to have gotten them out, but the court gave that excuse. So we hope that today there will be no excuse. We hope that nothing will stand in the way of liberty and our clients.
I'm sure you have some of your protesters in court today. What are your expectations? Some of your clients in court today, what are your expectations?
That's a further disappointment. Absolutely. We are also disappointed because they were supposed to come today. Today is the 14th day for that batch of protesters who've been in custody in Sawam and various police stations of this country. But unfortunately, we just picked indication this morning, only this morning, that the Attorney General's office, which is supposed to be a Ministry of Justice, had filed an affidavit in opposition today, meaning that the return date cannot be today and that we have to come back to court tomorrow. So that means for those whose 14 days expires today and we're supposed to appear before the court again today for us to repeat our bail of applications, by virtue of that application filed by the Attorney General, we cannot move our motions today. We would have to wait till tomorrow. And I think that's important for me to again emphasize the fact that the Attorney General is also a Minister of Justice, and they have a responsibility to the citizens of this country to ensure that they enjoy rights and justice. I think it's most unfair, most absurd even, that on the day they are expected to appear in court again after serving 14 languishing days behind custody, the Attorney General so disingenuously files another application which prevents us from moving our bill applications today. Mr. Attorney General, and particularly to the President of this country, I think that you are treating the people of this country as if they are not citizens of this country. I think you are being unfair. You are meting out injustice in its grossest.
So Philemon,
citizens of this country.
Your clients who are supposed to be in court today, as it stands now, they are not going to be in court today. So meaning they are still in police custody. We do not know when their court date is, their next court date is. Is that the case?
No. The return date is going to be tomorrow. It should have been today.
Okay.
But by virtue of that application filed in the House office only this morning,
right? They
had a lot of time to have filed whatever process it to file. Why did they file it last week? Why didn't they file it on Friday or Thursday last week? But had to wait today, the day we have to move our bill applications, to file that. Again, that's why I say that the Attorney General's office has been most disingenuous. Okay. They owe a duty to the citizens to protect their rights.
Okay. Thank you so much, Philemon La. He's one of the lawyers for the anti-Galamsey protesters who were arrested a while ago. Let's stay on this matter on Galamsey related issues, because Minerals Commission CEO Martin Awisi also revealed that illegal mining activities are currently ongoing behind a police station at Enyinem. According to him, the commission has called on the police to take action severally, but to no avail.
We have reported severally that behind Enyinem police station, people are doing stuff there which we have not permitted. So how come that the police is not taking action? So those guys that Minerals Commission has brought to the attention of MUSEC or DISEC, depending on where it is. The Enyinam one, for example, that Galamsey is taking place behind the police station. So it's like we've told you Galamsey is having a job 600 proper that is behind this new block. Respectfully, Honorable Okujeto and chair of this respectful honorable committee, the Minerals Commission officer has done his work. I am not saying that we have also not let Ghana down or we are 100% right. Because I have told you that there are instances where people have had all their rights and they have made mistakes. Of course, that's why they are inspectors.
Well, a statement from the Ministry of Information expressing a surprise about organized labor's decision to embark on a strike despite meeting with the president. And I'll quickly take you through that. It says that following the call by organized labor and other stakeholders on government to take action on the menace of illegal small-scale mining in the country, the President of the Republic convened a meeting with organized labor on Thursday, 3rd October 2024 at the Jubilee House. The meeting discussed the long-standing issue of illegal mining, reviewed the situation and government's efforts so far. It was agreed between the parties that the government will collaborate with organized labor and other stakeholders in the fight against illegal mining. Government will also take steps with Parliament and this month to revoke the Environmental Protection Regulations 2023, that is the LI 2462. Government will also ramp up its enforcement measures, particularly as it relates to prohibiting illegal mining in water bodies and reserve. In the light of the above, government is surprised by the decision of organized labor to proceed on industrial action from 10th October 2024. Government will, however, continue to engage the labor union and also stakeholders in constructive dialogue. We have a government spokesperson on governance and security, Palgrave Dankwa. We want to understand why is government surprised about labor union's decision to embark on strike. Good afternoon, sir, and many thanks for joining us. First of all, we want to understand, why is government surprised about organized labor's decision to go on strike?
Very good afternoon to you, and thank you for the opportunity. And to state that we are very surprised because these were some agreements that had come between the government of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the organized labor. And it's important to state that fighting illegal mining is a fight of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and we are glad that organized labor has joined this fight. It's late in the day. We would have wished that they had joined the President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo from 2017 when he put his presidency on the line, declared that illegal mining should be a thing of the past. We are particularly surprised as well because this is a collective decision that government agreed with organized labor. We are surprised that organized labor is going ahead with their demonstration in the next 2 days. We are aware as well that many of the unions are beginning to meet to be able to vote at the local level and make a decision. Our hope and prayer is that organized labor will call off their strike and heed to the conversations that have been agreed upon between the government of Ghana and organized labor.
But Pagrav, the president met with the group. They laid out their concerns, they made demands. If they are going on with the strike, don't you think it's because government has not listened to their demands, or the government doesn't have any intentions of making sure that demands are met? Pablo, can you hear me?
I'm glad you read a press statement that came from... I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm glad you read a press statement that came from the Sector Minister for Information, the Honorable Hajia Fatimatu Abubakar. And it is very clear that the demands that organized labor made has been addressed by President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Organized labor asked for the revocation of LI 2462. It doesn't lie in the hands of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to revoke the regulations that binds environmental protection in terms of mining in forest reserves. It lies in the bosom of the legislative arm of government, which is Parliament, and we are aware that Parliament resumes next week. We should be very confident extremely that when Parliament resumes, this will be tabled before Parliament for Parliament to discuss it. Organized labor asked for a clear state of emergency, and the President re-emphasized that the water bodies and the forest reserves remain red zones for mining and all forms of mining in water bodies. And the President reaffirmed and instructed all state agencies who are fully mandated to raid over our water bodies and forest reserves of all forms of mining. And so very clearly you could see that the President has addressed the needs of organized labor. The President and Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo as well, when organized labor did ask that there should be expeditment in the cases against illegal mining. And the President instructed a collaboration between the Attorney General and the Chief Justice to ensure that this happened. And finally, the President gave a nod that all persons that are seeking to lead this country, presidential candidates, should sign a pact, because this fight against illegal mining should move beyond politicization and become a national problem, which is why I'm glad that President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo saw that this is a national crisis, and right from 2017 has been fighting it. It's late in the day that organized labor is joining this fight, but we welcome the fact that they have become partners with government so we can be able to address this fight together.
Right, Pogov, now the ministry, government is a bit surprised about organized labor's decision to go on strike. They are adamant, they are going on the strike. What would government do now going forward?
Well, our hope and prayer, and I mean, we have about 2 more days. Like I stated, I'm aware that the various smaller unions are supposed to be voting a yes or a no in the various locales where they find themselves. We'll still continue to engage organized labor. We'll ask organized labor to exercise some restraint and give government a bit more time, because we'll be able to meet the demands that they have put on the table.
Paul, we are asking for more time. There are a lot of concerns about government's posture when it comes to this. They are asking government, there are no particular laid out rules or laid out policies to ensure that in the next 24 hours, in the next 48 hours, this is what we're going to do. And government is still asking for time, and people are a bit concerned about government's request for more time.
So you see, the issues that organized labor brought before government has been addressed in the meeting that President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo had on Thursday, 3rd of October. They stated that there should be a state of emergency. They stated that there should be a revocation of LI 2462. They stated that there should be smaller calls that are set up. And if you read the letter that the Sector Minister for Information had brought up, it's clearly stated in there that the LI 2462 government is going to talk to Parliament for Parliament to be able to revoke that. It's clear. It's clear. It's here. And the President as well has stated very clearly that water bodies and forest reserves remains red zones, and has stated very clearly that the state agencies and the security agencies and the law enforcement agencies that are responsible for this are mandated to be able to bring people to book who are mining in these areas. I really do not see the issue that has not been addressed and that organized labor has brought. So we are a bit surprised because these issues have been discussed, and we're looking at addressing them for organized labor and for our collective good.
Right. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us. That was Paul Djangay giving us his thoughts there. In the midst of protests and government receiving calls to declare a state of emergency due to the menace of Galamsey, putting the country's environment into a deplorable state, the Government Assurance Committee Chair, Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, asked the Minerals Commission CEO whether he feels it will be wise to continue handing out prospective licenses. Martin Awisi responded that he has not received any instruction to hold on. He believes that if the distribution of licenses were to be paused or stopped altogether, it would cause havoc in the system and complicate matters.
The issues are about illegal mining, people working in the water body, people going to the forest, etc. I have not received any instructions from government or minister to say, can you hold on? So, respectively, as I sit here and as we speak, my officers are online processing applications for small scale that have been received over the period, maybe today, last week, last year, because sometimes when applications come in, you have to check to see whether or not he meets all the criteria. So processing applications are going on. If I got the directive from government that, we are declaring a moratorium on processing of applications, I'll comply. If you ask me, rather than tell you, let me go and think about it and come, Chair, again, respectfully, if you stop, you complicate the issues. Compliance and ensuring that things are being monitored properly so that they follow the rules. I'm prepared to open myself for scrutiny. We can discuss that. But if you ask me personally, when you stop the application, so for someone who has gone to take some money, he's gone through the process, the officer has done the inspection, he has uploaded it online, forwarded it to Mincom, and he's at the ministry or he's about to stop it, and then he gets an advisor. Government says or Minerals Commission now has stopped processing for a while. Three things will happen. They'll start making noise and say, so me that I want to do it properly, you are stopping me? Wow, I'll go and do it illegal. I'm just thinking out loud.
We are stopping everybody.
Just a second.
We want to stop everybody.
Just a second. That's number one. Number two, you say, okay, fine. Before I realize he find himself somewhere. Some others will say, okay, we are law. So many things can happen. Someone will say, me, I'm law abiding, so I'll take it and wait. When they come back like they did in 2018, we'll go back.
You're still watching Newsroom here on GHOne Television. We'll be back after this break.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the track and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with it, EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
You're welcome back to Newsroom. Let's hop on to the campaign trail on Election Hub. The vice presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Pempere, is accusing the NDC of using the imams and pastors to promote homosexuality in schools and communities. There is more.
Dr. Mahmoud Bahoudia, Obi Odin Huni, Osronya me, Onomsa. Yeah, the vice president, Odin Huni, Onomsa. Okoye kata se the program ayen ka se ehwe no mem. Oko to a book. Everyone say we say onu de oba oni sabe tumu for be na e bi agro. Oko da ba obi oko to a book obi a o. Na sabu ni ma. President ba ku bi. Oko to a book. Onu o. Ah book no ko be bi o. Na mo tie de okan yo o se oni omu a o ma di sad ba ko no hono oni omu da mpaso na me nim bi omu ye na o yare no ko da akwa de mpaso akwa de be hwe no da ne nche o wi no sa ko ji ska wa akwa no hono du tu obu na bomo chichi free so che be ka che o se den che mu ewu a o ba ji na chi dia na o ba ji na chi nya na me na me education minister. And who says, say, oh, my curriculum. As a son, St. Colawo school, then show us a man. The Bako, the man here, me to see and watch anyway, or no could the trouble aqua. And no book for suffer, and the imam for, ɛna ɔmo kɔ kuro so ɛna ɔmo kyerɛ nkɔlaa teacherfoɔ nkyerɛ nkɔlaa sɛdeɛ bɛrima kisi bɛrima sɛdeɛ ɔbaa ɛde ne ba ɔbaa yɛ dɛ ɔbaa saa de wɔn akɔso wɔ Ghana o eti na Dramani Mahama pɛdi president a obiara di 2 terms odi nsɛn obiara di 2 terms odi nsɛn obi wukura ɔmo a ne bɛ gye akonnwa no wɔn ntumi ansa anya dɛ ɔno pɛdi president a so ɔsi ɔpɛ legacy a mukobisa 4 years kanea nsoda.
Well, the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George, has been reacting to Dr. Matthew Opoku-Pempe's submission. Let's take a look.
I've watched the video of the vice presidential candidate, Matthew Opoku-Pempe, and I think after watching that video and a few other videos of his, I am beginning to get aligned with a school of thought that says that one of the requirements for anyone seeking to run for president or their running mate, they should be subjected to a mental fitness test. It appears to me that the good doctor may not have all his nuts properly screwed on properly. Every fortnight, it appears that he's been programmed such that every fortnight he has an effusion of foolishness. He says that Okudzeto Ablakwa did what? Brought in CSE.
Yes.
Okudzeto Ablakwa was deputy minister in charge of tertiary. CSE was introduced in basic school. Okudzeto had absolutely nothing to do with basic education at his time in the ministry. Does that sound like somebody who has his faculties functioning properly? Again, I have a video I can share with you to play for your viewers of Matthew Opoku-Pempe thanking UNESCO for introducing CSE into the curriculum, and that it is time for us to get modern and understand modern sexual trends. Napo, I think that the media must, as a matter of fact, begin to, I can't dictate editorial policy to you, but you must begin to look at the kind of currency you give to certain people, okay? Because clearly, where are political discourses? Can I ask you, in all of Napo's public statements, one policy position Napo has espoused? He just comes to engage in some kind of, it's not even comedy, because it's tragic. So you can't even laugh because it is sad to see a party like the NPP reduced to such levels.
Let's do some business stories now. And in business, the Cocoa Carriers Association has announced its members at Tematakrade and Kumasi Depot of the Cocoa Marketing Company Limited will embark on an indefinite sit-down strike commencing today, October 7, 2024. This industrial action is in response to unresolved concerns regarding their conditions of service. In a bid to address these grievances, the association's leadership has directed its members to cease work indefinitely. The strike is aimed at pressing for improved working conditions, including enhanced wages and benefits. Notably, the association undertook a similar strike in 2022, where members demanded wage increase and better working conditions. To other business stories now, Techno, a leading global mobile phone and technology device manufacturer, has officially unveiled its artificial intelligence and ecosystem comprising various innovative devices designed to enhance the digital experience of its customers. The launched devices included a Phantom V Fold 2, 5G and robotic dogs, reaffirms the company's dedication to delivering top-notch technology to the Ghanaian and African market.
particularly techno device users, are poised to enjoy seamless and stress-free mobile usage with the introduction of Techno's AI and ecosystem in Ghana. Offering in-depth explanations on the new device's operations, National Channel Manager Ernest Sonko emphasized the company's commitment to developing cutting-edge devices that cater to customers' evolving needs.
Our commitment to pushing technological boundaries and our passion for improving lives through cutting-edge solutions. Over the years, Techno has achieved remarkable feats, and today is the perfect moment to reflect on these few and key milestones. Techno has firmly established itself as a global leader in smartphone innovation, delivering products that blend premium design and high-performance technology. From our widely loved Camon and Spark to Phantom series, Techno has consistently set standards in smartphone photography, AI technology, and user experience.
Speaking on the sidelines of the launch, Assistant National Retail Manager Daniel Opoku highlighted the two core values of Techno's AI: boosting customers' productivity and creativity.
AI is going to make life easier for all of us. Okay, so Techno AI is focusing on two core principles: enhancing your productivity and bringing out your creativity. So how does Techno AI make us productive? Okay, so now we have a situation where people tend to allow language to be an impediment to their communication. With Techno AI, you can be able to translate the conversation somebody is having with you if the person is speaking another language.
And that'll be all for business, but I'll be back after this break. You're welcome back. It's time for sports, and Nanama Ajimai is in the studio. Nanama.
Hi, Awisi Dede. Now in sports this afternoon, the Black Stars have been dealt a major blow ahead of their crucial 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier doubleheader against Sudan after Thomas Partey and 3 others withdrew from the squad due to injuries. Thomas Partey, Joseph Pencil, Ibrahim Osman and Kingsley Slider have all been excused from the team to face Sudan. According to a statement by the Ghana Football Association, Thomas Partey will miss out on the game due to medical issues he is currently experiencing, and his club has scheduled him for further tests in the coming days. Michael Bredu, Abu Francis, Ibrahim Sadiq and Jonas Ejay Ajete have been handed call-ups to replace the 4 players. Ghana's face Sudan in the first meeting on Thursday, October 10, before traveling to Libya for the second encounter on October 15. Still on the Black Stars midfielder Elisha Owusu has confirmed the pitch at Accra Sports Stadium is in good condition after major works to rehabilitate it for Thursday's qualifier against Sudan. Speaking to the media after the team's first training session at Accra Sports Stadium, the Auxerre midfielder disclosed that the teammates feel blessed to play at Accra Sports Stadium.
We feel blessed to be here in Accra. I know that all the country are behind us, and we do our maximum to put a good performance for everybody. It was good. I will not lie to you, the pitch was quite good, and you had an amazing training today, so we're really happy that everybody are doing the thing to help us play better football, and now it's on us to put the performance like I said.
On the international front, Aston Villa striker John Duran has signed a new deal at Villa Park to keep him at the club until the 20-year-old moved to Villa Park in January 2023 in an £18 million deal for Major League Soccer club Chicago Fire, signing a 5.5-year deal until 2028. The Colombian came close to leaving Villa in the summer after interest from Chelsea and West Ham, but he remained in the Midlands and has 6 goals to his credit so far this season, including a 1-0 win against Bayern Munich in the Champions League last week. That's all for sports here on Newsroom. I am Nana Alma Ajiman. Back to you, Awisi Dede.
Thank you so much, Nanama, for giving us sports stories. And that brings us to the end of Newsroom here on GHOne Television. My name is Awisi Dede Djangay. Have a wonderful afternoon.